Hey everybody, I'm Collin Ramirez, your local flipping real estate agent with Keller Williams South Park. Today we have...
Hey, my name's Hayden Poell. I am a local mortgage lender with the American Financial Network.
And today we are talking about the myth of putting 20% down on a home. Today we spent the day walking around Charlotte, North Carolina, downtown Charlotte, and just asking people what their opinion was on how much they needed to put down on a home. We got a lot of interesting feedback.
Yes, to say the least. For one, I think it's a little bit of a mystery for people when it kind of comes to what they need to be putting down into a home. You can get answers with people thinking that you have to put at least 20% down to a home, and then other people that just really were throwing some random percentages out there, like 2.5%, things like that.
Yeah, and of course we decided to pick race weekend, so everybody here was either not from here, California, from Florida, from Germany, Canada, a ton of random places. So, but we spent a lot of time just, asking people's opinion. And basically the consensus that we got down to was no one really knows, It was such a broad range of answers that no one necessarily knows what you have to put down. A lot of people were just kind of like, I never bought a house, I don't know how to buy a house, that type of general statement. What is something that you thought maybe has shocked us the most that people were thinking?
I think just the fact that people just don't really know what to expect. I know it's a little old school for people to think that 20% is what you're going to have to be putting into a home. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great reasons why you should do that. For one, you don't have to worry about paying any monthly mortgage insurance. And then the other thing too is that the more you put into a home, the better your interest rate's going to be. So if you're thinking, if you put yourself in the shoes of investors, the more skin that you have in the game, the less liable you are, and the better rates you're going to get from that.
Of course. Well, and the thing we were talking to earlier about interest rates is we were seeing, 5% in January?
Yeah, I would say back in January, December, November, that time frame, interest rates, if you were to look at our pipeline, you got in the 5% and high 4s. So with where we're at currently, anywhere from 3.5% to 4.5%, just contingent upon a number of different factors. But it's the reason why there's a huge kind of refinance market out there right now, and people are making sure that they're getting the rates low while they can before they shoot back up. So
yeah, of course. And the thing is too, if you put that into money perspective, most people are going, well, that's from 5% down to 3.5 or 4. How much really is that in terms of my monthly payment?
Right. So like I said, it's a bunch of things that kind of go into it. So the more expensive your home is, the more of a difference that's going to make. But generally speaking, especially with how low the rates have currently tanked, you could be saving thousands a year. So it's certainly part of the mortgage lender's responsibility to make sure that you're reaching out to your current pipeline of clients that you have worked with in the past and just checking to see what you can do for them moving forward. So
that's what I figured. We're actually talking about next week, which is rent versus own. How much you pay.
Right.
You're paying right now, the average I'm seeing when I'm helping clients look for a rental is $1,400, $1,500. On a $200,000 house, it's more than a mortgage payment.
Yeah,
currently.
Yeah.
And a question I had for you was, there's a new generation coming up purchasing homes. Millennials starting to buy homes. Gen Z is close to getting to that era of finding homes, finding rent, moving out of the parents' house, that type of deal. When it comes to purchasing, of course, the reality is not everybody has an automatic 20% down on most homes.
Right.
And people don't have that much money saved up.
Yeah.
So in terms of what I've been hearing a lot about is the 100% financing, what is something that...
Yeah, so that's different government programs that are offered. So for one, the VA product, if you are military or a veteran, that's 100% financing. Also USDA, if you find yourself in a USDA eligible area, that's also 100% financing, so that's something to consider as well.
Now, what is USDA again?
USDA is just housing out in the rural areas. So if you talk about the city here in Charlotte, if you get outside of the city limits, you can find pockets of USDA eligible areas. I believe, don't quote me on this, but over 90% of the continental, United States is USDA eligible, but in the city itself is generally ineligible. So.
Okay. All right, of course.
But then there's also a lot of other programs with very little, payments that you need to be putting into it. So, for one, there's a Home Ready program that is it markets out to your first-time home buyers, but you don't need to be a first-time home buyer, and that's 3% down. Then you've got FHA, of course, which is 3.5% down, and then your conventionals, we can actually go to 3% as well. So
That's good.
you still have to put a little bit of money into it, but it's not 20%, which is what we have found some people to kind of believe when it goes into to purchasing and financing a home. So it's just important for people that we speak with, especially you as a realtor and then me as a lender, to kind of to really bust those myths and make sure we're properly educating people on the different types of products that are out there, because there really are a ton of different things that we can do as far as trying to get somebody financed for a home.
Okay, and that's a good thing too, because not everybody just has money saved up to purchase a home. They're working maybe 2 jobs or maybe 1 job that's allowing them to pay rent, but they don't have that. I mean, they're making it by with the rent. They don't have the money to purchase into a home. Is that where you would really suggest 100% financing?
It's certainly one of the products that we would look at. So we had, I can, speak from experience. I've had somebody who were looking to get a conventional, but he didn't quite have the funds to get to that 3%. So then we kind of just offered, USDA is also something that you can consider, and it's part of having that conversation with everyone. It's just trying to, first we found out, okay, where do you work? Where are you currently living? What is your commute looking like? So keeping in mind that USDA is going to be outside of the Charlotte limits, so we were still able to find a good pocket where he found his current home to be able to, one, cut his commute. I think he was commuting like an hour up from like Kannapolis down to the city, and now we got him out in Belmont, so he's just it's like a 20-minute drive, so able to help him out there, and then also get him to closing with minimal expenses. So
that's and the one thing I think people also really need to remember is you got to ask. You got to ask questions. You got to call a lender. You got to call a realtor. You got to ask questions. So many people think, and that's why we're here sharing this information, so people aren't scared to maybe look at a home. They're paying $1,500 a month for rent and whatever that looks like, but they're just, I guess, they're nervous. They don't want to ask yet. They don't want to go out and reach out to a lender because they think you're all of a sudden going to attack at their throats and call them every other day. That's not how it is, people. If you want questions and all that, feel free, to contact them, like yourself or myself, and me being a realtor, not a lender, but ask. And of course, we both know people that if we can't answer your question, we know people that can.
Yeah. So we always have the people to kind of point you in the direction that you need to go. So it's just, don't be afraid to ask. Something that we pride ourselves on in our office is advice is completely free. So there's nothing wrong with kind of calling and asking and seeing kind of what's out there. Because like I said before, there's a bunch of different things that people can do as far as trying to finance their home. So feel free to reach out to your local lenders and ask those questions and see what you can do. At the end of the day, we want to be putting people into homes. We want to get them out of renting. Rentals are the prices are skyrocketing.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, anywhere in the close Charlotte region, I have seen homes go for rentals as much as like $4,000 a month.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't pay $4,000 a month for rent. I mean, $2,000, $1,700, all of that with a little bit of saving, if you could get to that 3%, or you can qualify for that 100% financing. Purchasing a home, cutting down on those costs,
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to look at it too. So when you're getting into a home, it's an investment, right? So I know of people that are in single bedroom apartments paying like $1,200, $1,300 a month. We can look at getting you into let's just say like a $200,000 townhome, and we can get your payments around somewhere between $1,200 and $1,300. But on top of that, you're gonna have like an extra bedroom and bathroom, so that's a roommate right there.
Exactly.
Charge him rent, that's just knocking down your mortgage payment. Or you can take that and apply it to the principal itself, to the actual mortgage. So,
of course. Thank you, Mr. Hayden, for stopping by. Of course, we're going to be doing these videos a lot more often. We're going to be doing a new topic every week. So I need y'all to help us come up with topics, questions that you might have that you would like to be answered. And the thing is, no matter what question you have, ask away in the comment section. You know, if I can't answer it, he can't answer it, we're going to make a video with somebody who can, and somebody who can do it well, somebody who can really give you the answer that you want and need. And of course, that's it. So, you know, if anybody wants to contact you or myself, I will have all my information in the description. I will also put yours in there. Do you have a website that people can go to?
Yeah. So people can go to homeswithhayden.com. Hayden is Hayden. Just go out there, and for one, it'll take you to a site where you can look at the different loan products that we discussed previously, or you can go ahead and click into the, you know, getting pre-qualified, and it'll just have you kind of fill out the information, start the application, and I'll get a notification and be in contact with you very shortly. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll put that probably right here. Right here is where the name and address and all that stuff is. All right, well, that's perfect. Hey, well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. We're going to get in touch, and we're going to make some more videos and educate people.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
All righty.